And it's swirling. It's live. Awesome. Hey, everybody. We are back. We are so glad that you could join us this morning for our session. I already starting to see some of those eyes popping in. We have Caitlin Alexander with us today. She is a Monarch author and she writes for middle grade audiences, but I'm going to let her tell all about her goodness and I'm dropping off. So, welcome everyone to the chat. Questions, throw them in there, comments, let them go. And then at the end, we will always come back to them. So I'm dropping off. You're getting,
don't leave me, no. Just kidding.
You're getting, this has been an awesome morning. It is so far. God wanted me here instead of Tennessee today. So Anne's from Georgia. So we're so glad to have y'all with us wherever you may be viewing from. And I'm off.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. I am Caitlin. I have commandeered my husband's in-home office this morning to chat with you. So I apologize for any clutter that you see. I am using his space. We got some cute kid photos on the wall behind us, though. I am excited to talk to you guys today just about religious diversity in my book that's coming out in February 2023 with Monarch. I feel so fortunate to have crossed paths with Jen, that she found my pitch in an event and has worked with me now for, oh my gosh, like half a year, Jen. I think that we started working together in like December on this book. So I'm just so incredibly grateful. And guys, I'm so thankful that all of you let me come and present today, because I consider myself an expert in nothing. So I'm just here to chat and to meet everyone and share with you a bit about what I have picked up and what I'm seeing in my writing, and then to learn from all of you guys. And in the meantime, I am wearing my Monarch sweatshirt and I'm drinking from my Monarch cup. So I'm very happy to represent Here Goes Nothing with my screen sharing, and reminder that I can't see your comments during the actual presentation, nor can I see myself. But Jen may pop on if there's something pressing that you want to address. I only have a couple of slides in there, so then I'll just pop back to this format and we can talk and I can see your comments more easily. Ruth says we are all learning, and that is entirely true. Okay, so let me click share. Share screen. Share screen. And we want the entire screen. Allow. So you should be able to see. Okay. Let's go to my presentation. Okay. View slideshow. Let's put this over my text that they keep popping up. Silly phone. Okay. So I'm talking today about religious diversity in my work. And I understand we may have some people with different visibility differences in the audience today. So I'm going to kind of try to describe verbally some of the images that are in my presentation as well. So I have my book cover designed by Corinne Linneberg, who is incredible. She, using oil canvas, put together a cover for me that has my two main characters on the front cover. They're in a long, narrow hallway that's dark, and they're surrounded by flames. There's a shadowy figure at the end of the hall. My book is called She's Still Here, and it is the first in the Kate Zablowski Paranormal Investigator series. So again, I'm Caitlin. I write middle grade horror. How do I go to the next slide? Click. Spacebar. There it is. Hi, I'm Caitlin. So a lot of this presentation is just kind of introducing you to who I am, just, as a person, because it informs the way that I write and what I choose to include in my books, which, by the way, I posted this on TikTok the other day, especially for you, Jen, but the ideas have just been like hitting me this week for book 2. And I have just like crazy person notes all over my house of things that I definitely want to include. So I can't wait to finish this final round of edits and get started on number two. But I am a wife and I'm a mom. I am a Minnesotan and I'm also a journalist. I am a news anchor here in southeastern Minnesota. I've done broadcast in mid Missouri, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Memphis, Tennessee, and then I came home to anchor in my hometown of Rochester, Minnesota. So I now identify also as an author. I have always, always, always loved to read and, writing in different school projects over the years, having a lot of ideas for TV shows, for books, those sorts of things. And it wasn't really until COVID that I really started to put the proverbial pen to paper and make this a reality. You have ideas pop up in your head and you just have to get them out somehow. And it has been so unbelievably rewarding. And I feel like I found this new kind of purpose in creating content that I wanted when I was younger. I write for middle grade audiences. So for, kids kind of in that 10 to, 13, 14-ish age demographic. But I also want to write things that my kids could read someday, which just feels so rewarding and exciting to think about. I am a horror nerd. I love to read horror. I love Mary Downing Hahn. I know, Jen, you love Mary Downing Hahn as well. I love to watch horror. If there's a new one that's ever coming out to the theater, my sister and I always get our tickets right away. We went to Black Phone a couple weeks ago with Ethan Hawke, which I have not seen anything with him in a long time, and he was fantastic. And I live in an interfaith household. So I'll go into in the next slide a little bit about kind of what that looks like. But, there are many, many, many interfaith households, across the country. But the way that my family lives that out is, I think, kind of interesting. So here's a look at my family. I have some pictures on the side here, and there's a photo of myself and my husband, Ian. In the middle is my daughter, Lexi, giving a healthy dose of her sass. This girl is one of the smartest people I've met. She just turned 3 years old. She has a response for everything. She remembers everything and probably is better at like character development than I am, like remembering these quirky little things about any character that she sees or reads about. And she really keeps me on my toes. And then the newest addition is little Landon. In that photo, he's on one of those breastfeeding pillows in front of me, and I have my laptop open next to him as I'm working on these final edits for She's Still Here. He's just grinning away at me and excited to be part of the process. So as a mom of very little kids, finding time to write, finding time to edit is incredibly difficult. But also, you just do the best you can, right? We all know this is life. And I have above the photos of my family, there's one of a Christmas wreath, and it has red and greens and whites as Merry Christmas on one side, and then the blues, silvers, and whites with dreidels and a bow with, I think, got snowflakes on it on the left. So I am a practicing Catholic, and I was raised Catholic. I'm a member at a church here, mass going, and I'm also a member and dues paying member of a local synagogue, which you might be like, how does that make sense? I'm married to a Jewish man. Ian is Jewish, and we are raising our children Jewish. But I've never converted. I am a member of the synagogue, and I go to a lot of their events and a lot of their services. And I very so much, value that community in my life. But also still practice in my own way. So our kids have this very unique kind of religious fusion in the house where they, celebrate Christmas with me, but they also are very passionate about their Jewish faith. Funny note, my daughter Lexi, one time the rabbi came over to our house and called her darling when she opened the door. And Lexi, ever since then, again, remember character development on how smart she is, she has insisted on calling her Rabbi Darlin every time she sees her since then. So, will Rabbi Darlin be there? That's stuff that she says. So you might be wondering, how does this have anything to do with my author journey? I chose to include faith in my book because I believe strongly in representation for children like mine. I believe that including characters' religious ideas or pastimes or traditions really can add a new dimension to those characters and to the plot. Jen, I haven't even told you this, but I think that in book two, Kate, my main character, uh, who everyone for the record, Kate is really smart and like kind of quippy. And she has this great, great banter and relationship with her mom. They're almost kind of like the Gilmore Girls in a way. They have this great dynamic where they speak just so candidly and openly with each other. But Kate's mom is going to try to talk her into having a big party for her bat mitzvah because she's going to be turning 13. And Kate is just like, oh, Mom, I don't want any of that, because she's just not with the extra frills and stuff like her mom is, right? So we're going to maybe get into some of those traditions as well. I think that including different types of religion in your writing as well can educate readers, maybe to other faiths that they wouldn't otherwise encounter in their everyday life. And also, one other interesting part to me about writing uh, elements of Judaism into my horror is that there's many Christian themes in horror and many varieties, concepts of, evil, you know, satanics, whatever, different elements in that traditionally, but you don't often get to encounter many projects that have Judaism included. So it was another kind of way to make my story unique. Again, I am not an expert at anything in life, not in parenting, not in writing, not in faith, not in whatever. I just chose to include religion in my story, again, trying to reach people like my children who want to feel seen when they pick up a book to read, and to add dimension to my characters. And, really, again, just a personal choice. But in order to, I think, be the most accurate that I can be in any way, shape, and form, I utilize critique partners, beta readers, and sensitivity readers. My husband has read She's Still Here at least 10 times. And Jen, he's promised me he'll give me another pass through in the next week before we officially send it off to ARC status. So I have photos on the right side of my screen that are from this past spring. A photo on the right of my kids dressed in their Easter outfits with little bunnies on them. And on the left with the Passover Seder plate, which I think this year they were pretty closely timed, both holidays. So the kids had a lot of family time and back-to-back events. But again, just kind of an example of my interfaith household and how we love the different traditions from our different faiths. So here's She's Still Here again. Here's my cover that I'm obsessed with, that I love. Kate is my blonde character there, and that's Jane in the gray holding a textbook with the brown hair standing just behind her. Again, coming out February 2023 with Monarch Educational Services, LLC. And Jen is very, everyone knows, because everyone here knows Jen, but she's very passionate about transparency and what we offer in our books with Monarch, so that parents and schools and book clubs and children themselves can make informed decisions about what they're picking up and reading. So we have a age suggestion on She's Still Here of 10 plus. So if you know anybody who likes spooky stories and is around 10 or so and would be interested in She's Still Here, February may be time to check it out. Here's a description that Jen put together for the back of the book that I think describes it pretty well. It says, Kate is new in town. Jane has been there for what seems like forever. Can Kate find out the truth? The one that is keeping Jane tethered to Ravendale Middle School. And one quote that continues to recur throughout the book is, life's not just the here and now. And it's something that Kate's Bubby, which is Yiddish for grandma, that her grandmother who's passed had said throughout her whole life. And Kate kind of starts to figure out, wait, Bubby was trying to warn me about something. She knows that maybe I have this special gift that allows me to see things, to hear things, to help people. And you'll find that Kate is a lot more like her Bubby than she realized. And I think it leads to some spooky moments, some kind of thrilling moments. And there's a really clear mystery throughout they have to solve. So if you're into mystery as well, there is that component. So send me your questions. Follow me. I'm Caitlin News on Twitter. I'm Caitlin News Writes on TikTok. I am 32 years old, and TikTok makes me feel like I'm ancient some days, but I'm really trying to learn the platform, and I think it's so fun. So I've been posting fun things that I'm reading there, other parts of just the writing journey, funny videos of my kids as I'm trying to edit and things that they do to me. I also have a website, CaitlinAlexander.com. So please check that out. You'll be able to order She's Still Here from that location, linked to Amazon and other booksellers when it comes out in February. And one little final note in the bottom left-hand corner, P.S. Dr. Jen Lowry is awesome, because she is. And she has brought us all together today. And she is a tremendous blessing in my life, for my whole family. And this opportunity would not have come along without her. So I don't want to get in my feelings about it. So instead, I'll just end my presentation. Let me click escape.
And we're here.
It says it's spinning.
And it's gone. And can you catch up with me, Caitlin?
I hear you now. Yes. Let me try to stop sharing my screen.
Stop. Oh, you're done. Yeah. It's just me and you.
Oh.
It's you and I together.
Oh, I thought you meant that nobody was watching. I'm like, I hope
everybody's watching. We see you both. There we go. Tish is there. So, Caitlin, absolutely love you. The family, seeing the pictures. Oh my gosh. Talk about TikTok. You look like a natural on TikTok.
I just think it's so funny. And I think Ian's getting ready to just lose his mind, that we'll just be lying in bed at the end of the day and I'm just cackling over something silly that I saw. But I get these ideas. And so I had the one punching video that trend. I don't know. I'm trying to be relevant. I'm trying. Really hard.
You're so authentic though. You'll have you editing and Landon right there and this is my life right now, because that authentic realness of motherhood on the news. We have a launch party and you're still able to get on it and say congratulations to Ashley's launch that on Tuesday while you're live. You're just phenomenal in all that you do. And we're just so honored to know you. And guys, Tish already said she cannot wait to get your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to tell y'all know I'm a horror fan, right? And so we do have a developmental editor intern that's working with us at Monarch. And she's like, not really horror. That's really not the genre that I prefer. But when she started reading Caitlin's, it's like, what? No, this is it. This is my life. You do have those, and I call it almost like the Nancy Drew type feel when I first, so that's why Tish is really going to love it. And so will Ann in the audience, because they love mystery and they love Nancy Drew. Haley said it too. It's more of a mystery. Haley's here in the audience with us today, but it's that whole Nancy Drew meets Ghost Encounters.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're walking hand in hand.
Haley says more of a mystery. So it's like that kid level horror. But I like to just throw a ghostly spook at you, little scare here and there, but it is at its core like a fun mystery. It's very true.
Yeah. Haley was like, Tim, you will love it. Yes, we all do. I am just so thankful too. And you gave Corinne a shout out and for the book cover experience. And Caitlin, you were so great behind the scenes of knowing exactly who Kate was and the stance that she needed and that turn of the head. And remember when we were getting those initial images up together?
Mm-hmm. I do. And trying to figure out the length of Kate's ponytail, because Kate is dirty hair on a Saturday morning, pulled back in a ponytail kind of girl. So that was really fun trying to bring them to life. I also think helped strengthen the descriptions of them throughout too, because I went back in and I was like, well, we talked about her, you know, pulling her hair up messy, and let's throw this in. Da, 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 da.
And it was just perfect. The cover is perfect. It captured everything, even the bracelet
Mm-hmm.
from the first chapter. Absolutely love it. Your book gives me chills, and it's not like just chills in the horror way, but in the books that matter way.
Oh, thank you.
Just all the good vibes about Kate and her experiences. Even look, I love it. I love all of it. Love the town, the people. You had a question earlier. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them in. So I'm going to go back to the question. What specifically inspired you to write this story? Of all the stories you could write, this story, what
That is
inspired
an
you?
excellent question. I love stories that have, kind of the ghostly elements, some paranormal elements, and I love stories with a lot of twists and reveals. And I don't remember a specific day where I thought, how can I put this story together? But I can remember being in my kitchen and Ian was there, my husband, and just saying, like, what if I had a character? I'm scared to like share because I don't want to like ruin it for people, but like, what if I had a character who builds this relationship with somebody, but in a sixth sense sort of way doesn't understand who it is that they're dealing with, but they need the character's help to solve this crime. And from there, it just kind of spiraled. So I remember that we moved over to the toy room. We're sitting on the floor, and I'm like, okay, but who did it? Like, who are we going to have do it? And it all kind of went from there. But I think that what inspired me to write it was just, writing stuff that I wanted to read too. And I always kind of say it's funny that like horror is the genre of my heart. It is what makes me happy and what brings my sisters and I together. But I can remember being in college and my roommates at the time, a movie came. I might have been one of the Paranormal Activity movies. They were like, let's go see it. I said, no way, you guys, I don't watch horror. Like, what are you talking about? Because I grew up in a house where my mom didn't like horror. She convinced me that I didn't like horror. And I went and saw it with my friends, and I was like, wait a minute, this was a blast. Like, what books are out there? So then I'm making up for last time reading R.L. Stein as a, 18-year-old.
And Han, and you brought up Han. Yep, Mary Down and Han. Like, I have a shelf that I grab. Like, if I see KP Alexander, I'm grabbing. Like, yeah, that's me.
I adore her. Yes. Yeah. Incredible.
So Tish said that she's always asking what if while writing and brainstorming. And Naomi also said, what if is always such a great brainstorming prompt, and she uses it in everything in life. And so you are not alone with those kind of what if questions. And so when you sat down to write She's Still Here, was that your first attempt at ever writing a novel?
It was my first attempt at a novel, yes.
So, words for like Ruth in the audience, who is almost finished with writing her first novel. She's 18. She gave her presentation this morning. Tips for how that process went for you.
I think being extremely open to any and all feedback, especially because, it's a learning curve just as we go, because I hadn't written other, novels that I just shelved. So She's Still Here really changed many, many times. I can't tell you how many times I've been through through it editing. And one of my beta readers one time, did I freeze? I hope I didn't freeze.
You froze, but you can still hear you.
Okay.
Now you're back. Now you're back.
One of my beta readers read an early draft, and said, I liked the ending. I wanted more. So initially, one of the big reveals at the end didn't exist because that was just feedback from a beta reader that they thought I could have done more in that moment. So I think just being really open to, even if it seems like it's going to be a lot of work, being open to those changes and those edits.
And speaking of edits, we have had editing rounds at Monarch, and you've got Haley right here. She love the descriptions of the crunchy TV hair. Haley also gave a shout out that I can't do horror, and it wasn't scary for me. So this means that the book that you've written is accessible for adult readers, young readers. This would be a great family read, school read, just a wherever read. She is spinning now. If you guys can see, the screen is black. She's spinning. So I think there's maybe some connection issues. But Haley has been a tremendous support for us. I want to give a special shout out to Haley. She's visiting us from Facebook, from the chat there. And I just want to say that when you start writing, continue with that story and know, just like what Caitlin said, there'll be eyes on that thing. It'll go through changes. You'll have opportunities to grow and learn and come back into your work, and then get a team of support people around you that can help you polish and advance your work so that way it is ready for the world. So if you have any last minute words that you would like to drop in the chat, I would love it if you could flood the chat right now. And shout out to Caitlin Alexander from joining us from Minnesota. We are so happy to have her. She has a very busy day today, and she took her time to come in. Sorry she dropped, but we only have a couple of more minutes before we are starting our next session, and that's with Tish Bouvier. So Tish is getting ready to take us into the write-in. Oh, she's back.
I am sorry.
No, don't you dare apologize. Of course, we always go with the flow here. Tish said, congratulations on your book. We'll share with family and friends. Thank you, Tish.
Thank you, Tish.
And Tish is a podcast host, and we'll just have to say, Tish, shout out to you for podcasting and interviewing. She interviewed Kara for her podcast. So hopefully you might be able to have continued conversations with Caitlin in the future.
I would love that.
Ruth said, great presentation, Caitlin. I asked them to put in any last minute hoorays for you and congratulations. So Tish said yes. Yes, with an exclamation point there.
Yay!
But we're just so honored to know you.
Oh, no, it's the other way around. Thank you so much for having me and for everyone involved in this. This was a really fun morning, and I'll be watching from afar, probably not in the chats too much, but I'll have my phone on speaker throughout the day as I'm wrangling children and throwing poopy diapers out.
And, Anne said, let me know when your book launches so I could get you on my podcast as well. Awesome, Anne.
Awesome, Anne. Thank you.
Anne has met Kara, and she just met Ashley. She said earlier when she was working with Ashley, she's now inspired with a new book idea. So you never know where that next inspiration will hit. And I know one thing. You told me the other day, it was like in the middle of the night or late at night, inspiration hit for book 2.
Yes, it was a random twist. And I was like, if I don't write this down, it will be gone. So I wrote it down, and I just got to consolidate my insane notes that are everywhere and put them all together.
So I'm really excited about book 2. I wrote that earlier in the chat because, and I know Haley is too, like she's ready. Haley was on fire in the chat with the very end of your editing rounds, just like sharing, and just all of that was so encouraging to see from you too, Haley, for the middle grade.
I'm a fan of Haley. Like, I feel like I just blow up her inbox all the time because she is this wealth of knowledge. She's obviously an incredible author, and incredible editor as well. But to have her in the book and really enjoying it just made me feel so much more confident, because I feel like I'm, again, being new to the publishing world, it's easy to feel that kind of self-doubt sometimes too. So she's been a real cup filler for me.
Oh, I love that. Guys, never feel it, Caitlin, because you are phenomenal. Absolutely love she's still here. And Lydia said, thank you for sharing. Happy children wrangling. So good luck with all of your adventures for today and for the upcoming weeks, because you are about to go into that ARC phase. Ooh.
I hope people want to read it in ARC phase and then leave reviews, honest reviews, because I would be so grateful. I hope people want to read it. I really do.
Yes. All right, guys. So I've got my schedule up at 10:30. We are going to be doing a live write-in. So think about what you would like to be working on. And if you haven't thought of it yet, Caitlin has given you a prompt. What if? So that was a great segue, Caitlin, into our next opportunity to join Tish on her channel. You just stay on our playlist. You're going to follow, and we're going to do our write in together. So this is going to be a great community write in, and then we'll get to celebrate. So it's going to be sustained writing time, and then a shout out of what we're working on. So I'm actually working on business work today. I'm working on Rebecca Winrich Wheeler's work for Whispering Through Water. So instead of writing my own work, I'm going to be working business writing, which is still a part of my many hats that I wear. So I'm really excited about getting some time to work on some things that I have on my list. So even if you are not working on a write-in, we want you to join us, because then you can work on some author goals at the same time. And you can be with us in the chat. So Caitlin, thanks for being with us. We hope you have a wonderful day.
I love you so much, Jen. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Have a great day.
Bye.